It's about time I talked about this comic. Let's talk about Aliens vs. Predator Fire and Stone, Part 3 of the Fire and Stone event. Aliens vs. Predator Fire and Stone takes place immediately after Prometheus Fire and Stone. We have Galgo returning to the ship with what's left of his crew of security, and they meet up with Francis the Doctor. When Eldon, that was once the android, now something completely different because of the black goo, lets all the xenomorphs on the ship. Meanwhile, the Predators catch wind of something's going on in LV-223, and they go on the hunt. So we get several Predators coming in, 3 or 4. And all hell breaks loose. This mainly focuses on Francis and Eldon, with Eldon kind of becoming both the antagonist and the protagonist. He's become something more than what he was ever intended to do. He's been mutated by the black goo, which the black goo is infecting everything. A predator gets infected, an alien gets infected, all these things get infected with it. It's just off the rails. And spoiler, I'm going to spoil issue 1 for you. Galgo manages to escape, which will lead into the next miniseries. So Galgo's out for the count in this series, and it just focuses on Francis and Eldon. And what did I think of this? When it came out, I remember reading the first issue and was really put off because they released these out of order. I've talked about this before, but it really affected AVP Fire and Stone. It made me not want to read it because it spoiled what happened in Prometheus Fire and Stone. So it was just really bad. They've thankfully rectified this with the Life and Death event. That's the spiritual successor / pseudo sequel to Fire and Stone. So what it boils down to is I actually, on second read, loved this story. I really did. Because, let's be honest, there hasn't been a good AVP story in a long time. AVP is one of those things where they really haven't had any comics or books or anything in a long time. They had the 2 movies, and they've had a couple video games in the last 10 years. The only 2 I can think of that came out really recently were, well, there's the pinball one that just came out, but I have not played that. Played Aliens vs. Predator for the PS3, and it's terrible. And they made an AVP Requiem video game where you played as the Predator. It was a PSP exclusive, and I don't think anyone ever played that. I never saw any reviews on it, so it probably is bad. Probably. Or it could be a hidden gem. I don't know. But otherwise, there really isn't anything. The only comic I can think of prior to Fire and Stone that was AVP was 3 World War. And I've never read that. That's the only Alien vs. Predator story I have not read that's comic related. And I've never read any of the AVP novels, but they haven't made one of those in a long time to my knowledge. So I give this a 4 out of 5, because it may start off kind of funky if you're reading this alone, but it turns into a really fascinating high science fiction, kind of creepy horror with a lot of gross horror sort of stuff going on in it book. And that's why this gets beginning of horror month, because it's not really horror yet. But I'm going to start you off slow, and we're going to build into the horror for this month. It doesn't get 5 out of 5 because you have to have read Aliens Fire and Stone. Well, not necessarily Aliens Fire and Stone, Prometheus Fire and Stone. But I recommend reading Aliens Fire and Stone as well, because what a great story. Yeah. Check this out. And how you get this. The trade paperbacks are really easy to get. In fact, I have the standard trades on Comixology. They go on sale periodically. Dark Horse does some sales, and I just picked up all 4 of them just on a whim. I'm like, you know what? I don't know when I'm going to get this library edition, but also really good oversized art in these books. And the art in this, before I end, is very surreal looking. And I love it for that. That gets a star in and of itself, giving this 4 out of 5 stars. Because really, really good art. Really cool covers. Not as cool as the Prometheus ones, but we're going to see. That artist, I think, is coming back for the Aliens Life and Death series, which, whew, that was pretty good too. But I'm getting off topic. Anyway, welcome to Horror Month, everyone. I hope you enjoy this, because I really am. Anyway, have a nice day.